Yeah, man. Oh, good. I'm trying to keep my own. So this one good? Yeah, that ain't bad. That one. That one is the killer. Let me see after that. Let me fix this.
PNM coming. PNM coming. PNM coming. We vote in PNM on election day. We vote in PNM on election day. Our future will be at stake if we only make a mistake. We vote in PNM on election day. Our plan is driven by education. We working towards a stronger nation. On election day, protect your future. PNM. On election day, what is the answer? On track, we're not
Good night.
on track,
Good evening.
on track,
Patience Hill.
on track,
Signal Hill.
We vote in PNM on election
We
day.
are here.
Vote in PNM on election day. Our vision 20 is clear.
Let's
The
get
solution
ready
will
to
get there. We vote in PNM
begin this
on
evening's
election day.
proceedings.
Our social sector is working for you.
Good evening, Patience Hill. Good evening, Patience Hill. The People's National Movement is in tongue. This evening we are about to begin this meeting. Please stand with me if you are sitting as we observe this nation's national anthem. Remain standing as I invite a daughter of the soil, my dear friend, Mrs. Cynthia Jacob, to come to open us with a word of prayer.
Good night, everyone. I ask that you put yourself in a form of reverence as we open this meeting. Lord, we give you thanks and we give you praise. Lord, I thank you for bringing us here safely. Lord, and I ask that you will cover us under the blood. Lord, I ask that all foul spirit that is not of you, that you will get rid of it, Lord. Lord, and I ask that you will cover everyone. Let this, whatever is said, that will be taken into consideration. And at the end, all the honor, all the glory and all the praise will be yours. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen and amen. Good evening, Patience Hill. Nah. We ain't ready yet, man. That don't sound like true Patience Hill. There we go again. Good evening, Patience Hill. We are here. We are in your community. We in your backyard. We on your front porch. We are the People's National Movement, and this evening we have come into your community to have a very, very salient conversation, a serious conversation about matters of mutual importance, things that are important to us, things that are important to our parents, things that are important to our children and our grandchildren. And depending on the choices we make about those things, it will determine if we continue in the same vein that we are going in now. This evening we want to get right into our program because we have a number of speakers lined up to come to bring to you information. Some you may know, some you may not know, some you will definitely understand tonight by the time that they are finished. So let me hear you, PNM people. PNM people. And in case you didn't know, PNM people means every single body, because the People's National Movement does not discriminate. We are all God's children. We are all God's children. We are all God's people. And because of that, we love everyone. We're not here to call anyone misfit. We're not here to call anyone unwashed. We are not here to call anyone Satan's children, because we are all God's children. Agreed? So this evening, I want to kick off. I want to get us revving, because I have a young man to bring to the podium. A young man who, you know that I say in sports, watch the man on the wing, because that is a dangerous player. That is a young man who has been making waves. He has been speaking from his heart, speaking to the youth, speaking to the seniors, speaking to young professionals. And this evening he is in the community of Patience Hill. And he is coming tonight to rivet, make your spine stand straight, make you stand up and listen, to penetrate your heart, and to make you understand what is at stake in this upcoming election. People, welcome with me this evening as we stand as a proud party, a young man who has grown, who we've seen develop all the way from Bethel New Grange. Let's put our hands together as we welcome Sterlance Timothy.
Turn it up, DJ. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. Thank you. Patience Hill, good evening. Signal Hill, good evening. Orange Hill, good evening. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being here this evening, speaking to you, the people of the People's National Movement. We are tasked with a mission that we need to put our trust and hope in. And tonight, as I speak to you with pleasure of being here and being able to represent and stand in the gap for the people of Tobago. My task this evening is very simple but important. And it's to remind the people that your representative for Patience Hill, Signal Hill, is the best that could have ever been selected. I find the people of Signal Hill and Patience Hill should have make some more noise. We're speaking about a man called Brian Harris. And me speaking about Brian is very, very, very personal. Because that's like my father, although he does behave young like me. And he's one of the most humble, down-to-earth persons that you could ever deal with on the face of this earth. Selfless. Always willing to help. Always willing to help someone. Always willing to go the extra mile for somebody, leaving himself undone. And that's why I could guarantee that Mr. Brian Harris will be the best person to represent you. One thing I'm sure of, I've always been around. I'm PHS. I could call Patience Hill PHS tonight. Because I'm a man around Patience Hill the same way that I'm around Bethel. And it's a village that I love, dear to my heart, the same way. And many could attest to that on these ends. And Patience Hill is a very talented and skillful village. It reflects my home village. Same bubbly spirit of people, same focus energy on the mission ahead. And that's why I want to make sure and resound in my voice that we need to get together and get this thing done, Patience Hill, Signal Hill. We need to bring back the PNM under the leadership of this district. We need it. And on the 12th, we have that choice. Let us all understand and take a moment and look at what's going on around us. Lack of representation, all areas crying out. Lack of employment. Lack of opportunities for the youths. Lack of jobs. Lack of natural development for entrepreneurs and all those young people who are fighting with business. I want to be here tonight and make sure and endorse that under the PNM, these issues will be resolved. These issues will be fixed. We are not here just to talk night after night or give gimmicks or give self-hope. We are here on a mission. And it's a mission to change and do better and make better of our society and the Tobago lifestyle. We have a lot at stake, Tobago. We have a lot at stake. Lot. The writing is on the wall. Issues are on the wall. Development. The issues that we can talk about forever, but our main focus, we need to vote. It's not a joke. Don't say you're not voting. Young fellas, don't say all ain't voting. All are fed up. No. When you vote, you lose your... When you don't vote, you lose your voice. You don't have a chance to say, well, I don't like how this going, or I don't like how this going, because you gave up your civic duty. Go out and vote for betterment, Patience Hill, Signal Hill. Go out and vote for more opportunities. Go out and vote for better leadership and representation that will not turn their back on you after election. Vote for Brian Harris. He's a man on the ground. He's an honest fella. He's walking the streets evening after evening. He even gives me motivation. He says, hey, Timo, get up and go out there. Because that is how the fella is. Go out and do it. Patience Hill, Signal Hill. We urge you, PNM people, let's keep rallying. Tomorrow is nomination day. We're rolling out strong tomorrow. Heavy tomorrow. We're going and shake them tomorrow. Let us say we run the crowd tomorrow too. We ain't ready no crowd. We're ready and we're ready and we're willing. And we're going and get this job done. There are many speakers. And my job was to endorse Mr. Harris. And I did that. And in leaving, I just want to make sure I resonate. Signal Hill, Patience Hill, you have the best candidate for your area. Work with him. Stay together with him. Help him. Guide him. Be around him. And he will be the best person that he can be. And on the night of the 12th, when we get together, it will be greater. And we will bring home victory for all 15 districts in Tobago. And we will all show great is the People's National Movement. Great is our party. Great is our God. Great is our people. And we shall and always prevail. I thank you.
Let's hear it again from Mr. Sterling Timothy. The next assemblyman and representative for Bethel New Grange. All it in the hear me. The next representative for Bethel New Grange. Strong and powerful young man. I want to ask a question this evening. How many of us here had peace over the last 4 years? Anybody? How many of us comfortable over the last 4 years? It's like every day you're uncomfortable, you're uneasy. And this evening I looked at a verse of scripture. Yes, a verse of scripture, 1 Timothy 2, verse 1. Ironically, I just fell on that. And that scripture says, and I'll paraphrase, that prayers and supplication should be made for all leaders and those in authority, so that we may lead a peaceable life, that we would be comfortable, that we wouldn't have any problems, that things would go smooth, in other words. You all understanding what I'm saying? Not me say that. 1 Timothy 2, 1. But when last we experienced peace and comfort, when last has life been easy? Brothers and sisters, it's not the prayer that we pray in, it's the leaders that is wrong. We have the wrong leaders in place. And this time, January 12th, we are going to make sure that we have the right leaders. So when we pray for Tobago, when we pray for our families, when we pray for our children, we could wake up in peace. We could live a life of comfort and ease. And this evening, yet another speaker is going to come to the podium. And he is going to continue to enlighten us about a number of things that has been happening. Things that have been in the public domain. Things that even when we see it, we don't sometimes understand what it means for us. But that's the young man. He's also another candidate for another district. But we know for sure that that district is safe now, because under his leadership, we know what is going to happen in that district. Yeah? So join with me this evening as I welcome to the microphone, as I welcome to the podium, a young man, fresh back in Tobago, quick between the shores. He's always here lifting his voice, speaking out, and always presenting us with the facts. Join with me this evening as we welcome the aspirant and the soon coming representative of that Masonal Moriah catchment, Mr. Kwesi Devins. Let's hear it from him. Servant, a leader. Oh,
Me surviving, your mercy keeps me going on. When the pressure rise, I go on, 'cause I know that God is fighting for me. Your goodness keeps me going on.
let's welcome him as he comes.
Getting paid and
Yeah.
bills piling
Yeah.
up every day.
Yeah.
Not enough, no. Ends not meet, but still I gotta keep moving on. Yeah, yeah. Every path that I take is a setback. Depression have me bracing the impact, but it's me, Jaja bless. As a servant and a leader, so in the midst of depression, you could bless. Keeps me surviving. Yeah, your mercies keeps me going on. Yeah, when the pressure rise, I don't worry, 'cause I know that God is fighting for me. Your goodness keeps me going on. Yeah, when the pressure rise, I don't worry, 'cause I know that God is fighting for me.
PNM people. Like all you didn't hear me or what I say, PNM people. They say when the pressure rise, I don't worry. Because I know that God is fighting for me. It's one of my personal anthems. And I see PNM people, let me say a special good night to each and every one of you God children. I want you to put your hand up if you know that when the pressure rise, God is fighting for you. Put your hand up. You see, I want to really put your hand up if it is Patience Hill people. On January the 12th, you're going out and you're supporting and you're voting for Mr. Brian Harris. Put your hands up. Let me see the hands too. And you see the big dog come on stage. I wonder if you'll leave on the stage for me, because when you see him back, no man could walk again, because he's a serious man, serious business. Bethel New Grange, if you're in the house, make some noise for your candidate, for your next representative, Mr. Sterling Timothy. Of course, I see with us our political leader. I see the secretary, the general secretary of the Tobago Council, Mr. Kesey London. But tonight, I really here to have a conversation. Can I have a conversation? Say, talk to me, Kwesi. Say, talk to me, Kwesi. Say, talk to me, Kwesi. Because I want to have a conversation tonight, because, you see, Marilyn start me, you know. And I don't need nothing to start, but Marilyn start me. Let him maximum move so we get space so I could see all the good. You see, for 40 days, Goliath was putting the Israelites under pressure. He was laughing in the face. He was showing off himself. The Philistines thought that they had it covered. They was beating the chest. They was proud. But you see, it took the underestimated one. It took the one that people never thought could do it. It took the smallest, the youngest. But you see, he was walking with God. And David knew that no pressure, all the pressure that the Israelites were under, he said, don't worry, as long as I have God on my side, then none can stand before us. And you see, I want us to do like David, you know. David took up 5 stones. Hello? David took up 5 stones. But he only needed, you see, on election day, your hand have 5 fingers, but you only need 1. Hear them. Say, talk to me, Kwesi. On January the 12th, we only need 1 finger. And you see that 1 finger good enough to strike down Goliath. That 1 finger good enough to strike down them wicked people. That 1 finger good enough to strike down the vindictiveness. That 1 finger good enough to strike down the bad mind. That 1 finger good enough to strike down the spiteful people. That 1 finger good enough to strike down the sellouts. That 1 finger good enough to strike down all of them who laughing in the face of Tobagonians and pretending like they love we. You see that Tobago People's Partnership? 1 finger could strike them down. On January 12th, I want all to show them that they have all 5, you know, but we only need. Hear them. We only need 1. People, this is serious business. You see, I don't think you all recognize what is at stake. Because sometimes people think that elections is about politicians and you just talk plenty on a platform and people wearing a jersey and whatever color they wear. But tonight, and I shared it before, a man stopped me in town. He said, Kwesi, I'm supporting you all, you know. You all have to end this foolishness in Tobago. He said, but Kwesi, The people in the red jersey, good for you, you know. Your supporters are important. But you say you see them people who suffering, it's the sufferers that win the election. And when you go from Crown Point to Charlottesville, when you come up here in Patience Hill or Signal Hill, people are suffering under this Tobago People's Partnership. People are suffering under Farley. People are suffering under Faith. People suffering under Tate. People are suffering in Tobago. For the last 4 years, just like the 40 days that the Philistines was laughing in the face of the Israelites, for the last 4 years, they're laughing in the people's face. But the 4 years are about to come to an end. The pressure about to end, my people. The pressure about to end. And I'm not talking about no joke pressure. Because, you see, we talk about the contractors, but some people say, well, contractors, Kwesi, what are they talking about? They come and they try to convince the Tobago people that 99% of the contracts going to Tobagonians. What they fail to tell you is that the 1% they created a 1% in Tobago. They created a chosen few in Tobago that have collected over $300 million from the people of Tobago. In the meantime, they're telling the rest of them, all they can get crumbs, all they cut a yard, all they fix a small drain. We can't do nothing proper in Tobago. Imagine in Tobago, you are denying contractors could even build an early childhood center. You're telling Tobagonians that they cannot even build a pan theater. URP, and Mr. Wilshire could bear me out, URP came to build a pan theater in Patience Hill. URP could do it. And if URP could do it, any Tobago contractor could do the jobs that they have their 1% doing. Farley and they have created a 1%. And you see, people say, well, but Kwesi, like just the contractors. But let me tell you something. When a Tobago contractor works, he hires Tobagonians. When a Tobago contractor works, he hires Tobago trucks. When a Tobago contractor works, he hires Tobago backhoe. He go in any hardware store in Tobago and he buying a shovel. He buying blocks. He buying cement right here in Tobago. And when he hire the Tobagonians, whether it's in Patience Hill or in Signal Hill, they're coming right by Bob's supermarket to make the groceries with the money that they get. Today at 3:45 p.m., I drove through Scarborough. And I had to check it. I said, nah, something wrong. You could have played a football match in the middle of town. People set up to sell things in town, but nothing in selling. Because all the people that they bring from Trinidad and pocket all the Tobago people money, going back down on Frederick Street. They're going back down in Chaguanas. They're going back down in San Fernando. They don't care about us in Tobago. In the meantime, we hear and it's crumbs. As the people up in Mariah and Mason say, it's only crumbs we getting. It's only crumbs we getting. It's only crumbs we good for. Table scraps we good for. And you see some people jumping up now on some of the blocks. And everybody like to have a good time. We, in this country, in Trinidad and Tobago, we like harvest. We like carnival. We love Rejuve. And so they feel if you fed people, they will forget. They feel if you buy some more rum, they will forget. They feel if they buy some weed, you will forget. They feel if they cook a pot of stew chicken or stew pork, you will forget. But we will not forget. We will not forget how you bust people throat. We will not forget how you mash up Tobago businesses. We will not forget how you mash up some Tobago families. And I just want to stick a pin here on the matter of families in Tobago. And Marilyn, please excuse me a little bit. Brian, please excuse me a moment. You see, I want to tell a story, and this is a real true story here. I have a very good friend, and in December 21, I couldn't convince him to vote for the PNM. I tried all out. His in-laws are PNM supporters, but his parents support whichever party, because you realize it don't matter once it's not PNM. It could be now, Tough Dark, Forwards, YFTOP, they're supporting them. No problem, that's your choice. So in December 2021, my good friend supported the PDP because the TPP didn't face the polls then. And he said, well, he thought that they could bring something new and different to Tobago. No problem. I saw him welcome his secretary at the time into his own home. Christmas time, his secretary in his home. Wine and diner, black cake and sorrel, you name it, she got it. All of a sudden, she started asking him to do some things that were unscrupulous and unethical. You see, she's not a woman of faith. She might say she is faith, but she don't really have faith. You see, this woman that don't really have true faith, she decided that she wanted my good friend to do something that was unscrupulous and unethical, and he stood up and he said no. And Yola asked my friend if I could tell this story, and he said, go ahead, tell my story. He said, talk to me, Kwesi. In no time, all of a sudden, although he was the manager in his unit, she created a position for a manager for the manager. Somebody to do the dirty work. Before you know it, although he was impeccable, always on time, extremely professional all the time, he worked with 3 other secretaries before that one. Never had a complaint. Always praised him for his work. She decided, you ought to go home. Find a way to send him home. You're not doing my bidding, go home. Oh, they hear me? So the gentleman spoke to his father, a Speyside man, and he said, boy, they're coming for me. What you gonna do? They had to call up Farley quick. He said, don't worry, I'm gonna put you somewhere else. Don't worry yourself. The woman of little faith said, nah, I don't want him to go anywhere else. I want him home. Send him home. Fire him with immediate effect. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not making up a story. This is true thing. And you see, by the grace of God, because I stayed up some nights praying for him, some 4 watches praying for him, he was able to go into a different division and work and demonstrate his professionalism. Thank God for that. But you see, he said to me, Kwesi, that woman practices wickedness. Y'all, it ain't come from me. These people practice wickedness. And you see, when they say they're not using Tobago contractors, it's because they practice wickedness. You see, there's an entire unit of people that they sent to him from the office of the chief sec. The court said, y'all were wrong, pay the people the money. But because that chief secretary practices wickedness, they say they're going to the appeal court to appeal. But I will tell you why. They can't stand the fact that people like Gavin Walters was working inside of there. They can't stand the fact that there were people who support the PNM that were working there. Because they practice wickedness. And you see, you might think it's an isolated case, but ask the people in CPEP the same question. Some of them lost. A woman came to me in Susulan. She said, Kwesi, I lost my fridge. I lost my stove. She was on the verge of tears. When they sent home those CPEP women, a woman with 2 children called me crying. She said, Kwesi, next week after buy books and now get the book list in my hand. How are buying books for children? They think we will forget because they buy some rum, they cook some food, and they get them some weed on the block. But we will not forget. 4 years of wickedness is about to come to an end. 4 years of denying Tobagonians opportunity for development is about to come to an end. You see, because they don't really want to develop Tobago, you know. And that's why they're sticking young people in 10 on, 10 off, when over 600 positions, vacancies are in the Division of Works, over 500 in health. But they want to put you in 10 on, 10 off, so you'll keep coming and begging them for work. They want to put you under pressure. But when the pressure rises, I don't worry, because I know that God is fighting. You see, people in Patience Hill, it's serious times ahead of us. Because if you give them another chance, the wickedness only going to double up. The spitefulness only going to double up. The vindictiveness only going to double up. We have to put it to an end. The last day, give them notice. We're giving them the 2 weeks notice from tonight. We're giving them the 2 weeks notice from tonight. Vacate the premises immediately. Get out of those offices. Vacate every single office in every one of the electoral districts, because the wickedness had to end. It has to end. Big dog, what big dog tell them? Big dog tell them they need to ride out. Before I go, I heard the chief secretary say they never do no business with Namalco. But everybody by now know that that man is the man. Teacher Percy say, if you tell a lie, you're going to. On January 12th, we're changing the name to Lion the Liar. Because the man say they never do business with Namalco. But when the minority leader asked the question in the house, Namalco they big and bold. Namalco has an asphalt plant in the quarry as we speak. In this Tobago right here. You see, I like to tell stories, so I want to tell a quick story. When my brother was in Standard 5, my father started teaching him to drive. So my brother, by the time we were in Bishop's High School together, he was driving up and down PAN 6044. The old wagon was there. I said, well, boy, my turn coming soon. I can't wait to get my license. By the time I got my license, well, boy, there was no PAN 6044 anymore. So I had a license with no car to drive. I see they come and they boast that they get license to export from the quarry. I see they come and they boast that come not bring license for them. But I could tell you now, ask any of the truckers, the only way they know if they're getting any aggregate today, they have a WhatsApp group. They just tell them, okay, all you can get one today, one load. They say, all you can get one today. I thought all you know the things. But the truth is, and I ain't making up no stories, the fact of the matter is, they have run the quarry into the ground. The pumpkin man ain't know nothing about stone. They're going up in the quarry. When I left there was mountains of aggregate. Now when they blast, this company named Jage something. Jagosa, Jagisas, what it is? I don't know, something like that. Whenever they blast in the quarry, they say, them trucks coming up on the quarry face and take out all the material. When the men the workers ask them, what is that one? They say, call the boss, call Ashworth. Because they sell out the quarry to Namalco and the next company. They sell out the quarry. They're talking about business in Tobago, but they don't care about Tobago. That export license will not see the calling up and down the place to see if they can export now. There is nothing to export. Export what? $6,000 for a bag of onion or garlic. But people, I'm here to tell you this is serious business, all jokes aside. On January the 12th, we have a job to do. Just like David had a job to do to bring down Goliath, we have a job to do to bring down this wicked Tobago People's Partnership. We have a job to vote them out of office. We have a job to elect Brian Harris for Signal Hill Patience Hill. We have a job to elect the big dog himself, Sterling Timothy in Bethel New Grange. We have a job to elect Maxlon Roberts for Palliative Land for Miss Bayside. We have a job to elect Shanae John for Roxborough Argyle. We have a job to elect Carl McEwen in Belgarden Glamorgan. We have a job to elect Kamisha Bacchus in Mount St. George Goodwood. We have a job to elect Dexter Miller in Mason Hall South Bagatelle. We have a job to elect Petel Daniel Benoit in Scarborough Mount Grace. We have a job to elect Harvest God himself in Lambo Lowlands. We have a job to elect the man train Dominic for Crown Point Bonaccord. We have a job to re-elect Kelvon Morris in Darrell Springwim. We have a job, Mason Mariah family, all the wave all the flag and get on bad. We have a job to elect Kwesi Devines in Mason Hall, North Mariah. And last but by certainly no means least, we have a job to elect Ansel K. Dennis in Buku Mount Pleasant. How I could forget Akil Guy in Bethesda New Grange and Karen Forbes in Plymouth Blackrock. It's the way all the ladies and them only calling Akil Bay. Akil Guy is the new Bay on the campaign trail. Young people only go easy on him now. But there's something serious I want to say. Young people have been neglected. Sports has been neglected. I've never seen the playing fields look more decrepit in my life. I've never seen potholes in the road like that in my life. You can't get a food card. You can't get help. You can't get a permanent job. You can't go in Island Finance and all and take a loan. Things bad, Tobago under pressure. But when the pressure rise, I don't worry. Because PNM and God is going to fight for us. And you see, on the night of January the 12th, people don't like us to say it. But a man said, Kwesi, like, all they forget to leave the money stretcher in the division. Because how come all they getting less, all they had less money and all they do more? Like they don't know how to stretch the money. But I could tell you we wasn't flying up and down the place. We wasn't giving the money to Trinidadians. We were developing Tobago and Tobagonians. And you see, they didn't want sandals because they don't want development for Tobago. They did not want sandals because they don't want development for Tobago. You see, Watson Duke tell them put a hotel on Carrera and they're going to do that now. Because Tobago can't get nothing. When UNC win, All are we losing? He's suffering, the pressure rising. I know some fellas by Bob wondering how they buy the next nipper punching, because punching and all gone up. A man says Alabama Scotch drinking now. Police already near me say that. I see a man say. But you see, they didn't want development with Sanders, but they're taking destruction with the radar. Because I'm reliably informed that there's a possibility that that radar can cause cancer. There's a possibility that that radar can cause leukemia in young children. And they want to tell you it's a gift. They want to tell you we're better off with it. Well, the blood of Tobagonians will be on their hands. But on January the 12th, we are mounting the fight back. On January the 12th, we are mounting up the Red Crusade. On January the 12th, we will remind them why the PNM is great. On January the 12th, we will show them the might of the PNM. On January the 12th, they will know for sure that this party that has been there since Eric Williams is truly great. This party of Orville London, of Kelvin Charles and Tracy Davidson Celestin and Ansel Dennis is truly great, because on the night of January the 12th we will be singing great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. And we have prevailed. I thank you.
Them a come with them mic and a chat with them say, and a fly round the world and a play every day. Now them a come with a talk, but a turn make them done destroy the assembly. When them a bring to the table, if a talk alone, we not able. Every day go wrong, I tell fable. Them a dead ass in a race, they not able. When them a bring,
What they bring to the table, boy?
highest staff, and them a stable.
What they bring to the table?
To be able to anchor the
Patience,
assembly
hell.
over. He said, but 6 people live for the avenue.
Patience, hell. What did they bring to the table? Somebody say nothing. Somebody say nothing. Wheel that DJ, wheel it. Somebody say nothing. What them bring to the table? Nothing. What they bring to your table? Nothing. So when on January 12th, how much they getting? Nah man, we had to say it louder than that. On the 12th of January, how much they getting? Nothing. Because they have brought nothing to this table. This evening, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to shout again, because we heard quite a lot. So let's hear it from the young man, the candidate, the next representative from Mason Hall Moriah, Mr. Kwesi Devines. You see, it's so much to say. So much has happened. But there are some things we will not be talking about tonight. Tell your neighbor we're not talking about everything. So tonight we're not going to talk about how they abandoned with children and them in university and didn't want to pay the money. We ain't talking about that. We're not going to talk tonight about the secrecy behind the shutdown of URP and CPEP in Tobago, because no allocation. But tonight we not talking about that. Tell your neighbor we're not talking about that. We're not even going to talk about how total lack of unaccountability or accountability in the house, that they don't answer no questions at all. Tonight we not going to talk about that. We don't want to talk about it. So there are some things that we definitely not going to talk about. We're not going to talk about the entire development budget given away, or in their own words, spirited away to another economy. Tonight we not going to talk about that. But brothers and sisters, what I could tell you is that there are some things that we're going to talk about tonight. And as we move along, I am going to bring a young man to the podium who have plenty to talk about. because he sat in a seat for the last 4 years, a seat where they tried to ridicule him, a seat where they tried to cuss him, a seat where they even tried to threaten him. That is how serious it got. But on every occasion, he continued to speak the truth so that the people of Tobago could understand the kind of oppression that we have been facing. So tonight, there are some things that we will talk about. This evening, join me as I bring to the podium a young man, and I like how Kwesi said it, re-elect. On January 12th, he will be re-elected. We don't have time for nobody who going wrong, who are asleep in the district for 20 years, that they on podium talking about things that happening already. He is going to be re-elected to the electoral district of Darrell Spring Wim. Join with me this evening as we welcome the minority leader for the last 4 years and the soon incoming re-elected assemblyman for Darrell Spring Wim, Mr. Kelvon Morris.
Sometimes I fall to my knees and pray. Come, Jesus, come. Let today be the day. Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna break, but I'm holding on to a hope that won't fade. Come, Jesus, come. We've been waiting so long for the day you return to heal every hurt and right every wrong.
Patience Hill, Signal Hill, PNM family, good night. It has been 4 long, hard, tumultuous years we've been calling on Almighty God for this day, January 12th, 2026, for Tobago to be rescued, and that day is finally coming. Political leader of the Tobago Council of the People's National Movement and the next Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, Brother Ansel Dennis, good night. I want to recognize the next representative for the electoral district of Patience Hill, Signal Hill, Brother Harris. Our fellow standard bearers here tonight, all 15 candidates representing the illustrious political institution of the People's National Movement, our executive members, former assembly members, former members of parliament, PNM family, residents of Patience Hill, Signal Hill, Tobagonians, Trinidad and Tobagonians, good night all. So Kwesi just gave us a mouthful as to why in this election the People's National Movement is the only choice. The People's National Movement is the right choice. And as the song Marilyn just played there said, what did this TPP really bring to the table? Nothing. Imagine after $13 billion, the most allocation in the history of the Tobago House of Assembly, I'm asking you here, the residents of Signal Hill, Patience Hill, what did they bring to your table? After flying, jetting, joyriding $25 million of your taxpayers' money. Where are the tourists today? Nothing. After Trevor James spent $7 million on a design to upgrade and redevelop Scarborough. Scarborough is the worst Scarborough has ever been before. So your $7 million has gone right down the drain. And you would recall the Stage in the Sea, $2.5 million of your taxpayers' money. And what have we gotten in return? Nothing. They took $3 million of your money and rented a building in Trinidad. And up to this day, what have we gotten out of that building where no one was able to go in? It was never open. What did we get? Nothing. And brothers and sisters, after they took $300 million of our money, our development funding, and spent it on roads, giving it to their Trinidad UNC financiers, what did we get here in Tobago? Absolutely nothing. And I am saying to the TPP, forget 21 years. You had 4 years. We don't like that 4 years, and it's time to ride out. Because you see, brothers and sisters, this election is not about noise. This election is not about fancy slogan as they are trying to hoodwink us again. This election is not about who can talk the loudest either. This election is a serious election. This election is about our lives and our livelihoods. This election is about protection. This election is about survival. This election is about those little ones, those little children, our future generation. Because you see, this election is about whether Tobago has leadership that is willing and able to defend the people of Tobago, or whether we will continue under the leadership that has proven to be self-serving, that has proven in times when Tobago need the leadership to speak, they go silent. A leadership that has been bought out, a leadership that is compliant, and a leadership that has become compromised. And make no mistake, brothers and sisters, what is happening in Tobago right now is extremely serious, and it will have an impact on the lives of each and every one of us. Because you see, just about 2 days ago, the headline across Trinidad and Tobago was that Kamla Persad Bissessa approved and gave the U.S. approval to bring military assets and utilize your airports, both at Piarco and at the A&R Robinson Airport, for the purpose of military action. And therefore, this is not speculation. That is not politics. This is a fact. And the person with responsibility for Tobago, your Chief Secretary, Mr. Farley Augustine, has told Tobagonians there is nothing to worry about. You all heard him. When the question was posed, are you worried about this increasing buildup of U.S. military assets in Tobago? He said he had no problem, and there was no harm to come. But Tobago, we are already feeling the impact. Because if you look at the recent headlines and you talk to anybody in the tourism sector, they will tell you, as tourism stakeholders, they are feeling the pain. Because just today in The Guardian, in their business section,
The headline in The Guardian was, Tobago suffering weak winter tourism. So while you have the young men on the block suffering, you have the single mother suffering, you have the THA worker suffering, now Farley, Chavez, Augustine have our tourism stakeholders also suffering. Because the article explained that hotels are not filling like they should. Flights are arriving with empty seats. Tourism leaders said visitors are canceling and holding back because of uncertainty in the region. And I can attest to that fact because one of our major hotels, usually their occupancy right now would be 75%. And they are saying to me that their occupancy is only but 20%. So in a 200-bedroom hotel, all they have in the height of the December winter season is but only 40 visitors. So you have that going on in the tourism sector. People are not coming to Tobago like before. I was at Pigeon Point on Sunday, and one young man point out to me one of the reef boats going out. And he said, Mr. Morris, you know that boat usually is licensed for 120 people. And if we at a cursory head count, that in the height of the winter season, that tourist reef boat only had about 30 people going out. The young man told me, Mr. Morris, things real hard. He said, usually I will be able to pay my rent 3 months in advance. And he's saying to me, as it stands, I am owing 2 months rent. And that is the reality that Tobagonians are facing at this time. Tobagonians are feeling the pain, and that pain is inflicted by the reckless actions, complicit, aided and abetted by your Chief Secretary, Mr. Chief Never Know Nothing Now, Farley Chavez Augustine. And you see, I have always said, tourism is to Tobago what oil and gas is to Trinidad and Tobago. And therefore, we depend on tourism for our survival. When tourism slows, the whole island feels it. You can go to the bars, to the restaurant, to the groceries. You see it and you feel it. Government revenue drops here in Tobago. Small businesses struggle. And jobs become uncertain because even as we speak, a number of hotels and guest houses are cutting back time on workers. And now we have Christmas, and some of these workers don't even know how they're going to buy groceries for Christmas. So if you work in a hotel, it means fewer guests are coming, which means fewer hours you are working, and you in fact are getting less pay. If you drive a taxi, it means for those persons who depend on the cruise ship to make some US dollars now, the cruise ships are canceling the calls, and it means you too are receiving less money. If you sell food, less people on the island means less revenue for you. If you rent your home, your accommodation, your guest house, or your hotel, it means less revenue for you. It means that some of our hoteliers at this time are saying the banks are waiting just to see the result of the election to determine if to foreclose, because they know if the TPP wins back, God forbid, it is salt for them. And therefore, this is why it is so important, brothers and sisters, that we go out to the polls and vote for the People's National Movement. And I just want to explain this radar thing very simply, because you are seeing people trying to shift the conversation. Some people trying to tell you, well, the radar is for narcotics, and the radar was able to go behind the Northern Range and pick up drugs in the Caroni swamp. You hear a lie? That is the lie.
Hear them.
You see, this radar is no gift, fellow Tobagonians. In fact, if the only gift that radar is a gift of sure and certain death. And we are saying to Tobagonians that we are going to reject that death gift given by Kamla Persad Bissessar and the UNC. So as Kwesi said, when you go out with that voting finger, we are going to vote against that radar because we are going to vote to save our lives. That radar represents danger. That radar represents war. That radar represents bloodshed. That radar represents a bullseye on the backs of every Tobagonian. And you have a chief secretary who has openly welcomed that radar. And we are saying, Chief Secretary, if you won't stand up for Tobago, it is time for you to go.
You dig, you dig, you dig.
It is time for you to ride out.
You dig, you dig, you dig.
And I hear them on the other side because they like to preach Tobago is we. But you could imagine, and they like to talk about Hochoy Charles and A.N.R. Robinson and A.P.T. James. But you could imagine something like this happening. You think A.P.T. James would have stayed silent? Do you think A.N.R. Robinson would have stayed silent? Do you think the heavy roller Hochoy Charles would have stayed silent? But Farley Chavez Augustine, for reasons known perhaps to him, and perhaps I know as well, I won't say it here, has remained silent, has remained complicit, and he has sold out Tobago. Farley, as my friend saying, cat has stolen his tongue. Farley no longer speaks for the people of Tobago. Farley speaks for Kamla Persad Bissessar and his UNC financiers. And this thing is very serious, brothers and sisters, because you would have heard Diane Haddad. And you remember Diane Haddad is an independent voice. She calls it as it is. And Diane Haddad is saying to us that under Farley Chavez Augustine, the Tobago economy has gone in reverse. As a matter of fact, Farley Chavez Augustine and the TPP, they are the anchor holding Tobago's economy back. And it's not Diane Haddad alone saying it. You have heard Vanus James explained it quite. The Moody's report. Well, Kamla and Farley get the whole of our economy, and in just 10 months, it has moved from stable under the hands of the PNM to negative, gone all the way back. And brothers and sisters, we handed over Tobago's economy, even in spite of COVID, under the PNM. We had a 4% growth in Tobago's economy. Even with more money under Farley as Secretary of Finance, 3 consecutive years, Tobago's economy has declined. Farley, and I don't know about you, but Farley already gave us a clue that he's unfit and unworthy for re-election, because Farley as Secretary of Finance and Farley as Chief Secretary, Farley fired himself. Farley fired himself as the Secretary of Finance. So if Farley will fire himself, Tobago, what are we waiting on? It's time for we to tell Farley, pack your things and ride out. You see, the choice in this election is bigger than party politics. A vote for the People's National Movement is a vote for protection. A vote for the People's National Movement is for us to reclaim that tagline. You remember that in 2013? It is a vote to stand in defense of Tobago. Because, you see, Farley is compromised. The TPP is now beholden to UNC financiers. And you will see from time to time, because just today I got a video, because in my electoral district, my campaign office is on one side and the TPP campaign office is on the next side. And this just today, I got a video with the TPP offloading bicycle, offloading toys, offloading hampers, ham, lamb, and jam. And all that is, fellow brothers and sisters, is your money, your Tobago money that was spirited away, where you young men couldn't get a job, where you contractors were blacklisted, where many Tobagonians were sent home. Your $300 million, some of it simply coming back to you by way of these gifts. And therefore, if they bring it, I am saying, take it, is your money, but take it and vote them out. And I want to say something here to you, the people of Patience Hill Signal Hill, as I close. You could not have a better representative than Mr. Brian Harris. You see, I've known Brian for quite some time. And I've always seen Brian as a community man. A man always amongst the people. A man who always represents the young people in particular. And we here in the PNM, our policies and programs, we have spent a lot of time thinking about how we can bring policies to improve your lives. Whether it means more jobs, whether it means more training, whether it means more opportunities for owning homes, whether it means support for businesses and agriculture, sports, culture, and the creatives. We have a policy and a plan for you. And therefore I'm saying, get off the fence. Get on board with the People's National Movement. Brian Harris here in Signal Hill. Up at Scarborough, Mount Grace, Petal Daniel Benoit. We're going all the way up to Charlottesville because we just find the Chief Secretary and we're putting in Maxwell Roberts. Come down to Roxborough with Shanae John. Then we're going to pick up Carl McEwen in Glamorgan. And we're coming down with Kamisha. And then we're picking up me and Petal in Scarborough, Kelbourne in Wim. And then we're going to Lambeau Harvest, God cooking the food, and we're ready. Then we're going down to Buko to eat some crab and dumpling with Ansel. And then we're going by with brand new airport. We want everybody come down by with brand new airport where Ansel will tell camera, take that radar and carry it to Siparia. And and we're picking up Miller too because we want protection. And as Miller makes sure we come down there safely. No, we're going Plymouth. No, I really want you to go Plymouth. Because when you go Plymouth, we have the footballers. We have Karen on one side. And then we want to beat and teach in Bethesda, Lekoto. And when we do that, PNM family, we go want to all sing and shout is licks from the PNM. Licks from the PNM. Licks, 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 licks. PNM, 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 PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is the PNM. Great is our God. And we have prevailed.
Them a come with them hype and a chat with them say them not run the world and a play them PNM. But now them a come with a talk but a tunnel we can come destroy the assembly. When them a bring to the table, if a talk a road we not able. Every day go wrong a tell fear. Them a dead ass in a race they not able. When them a bring to the table, a fire start to them a table. Nothing a race is they take over. To be able anchored in a cycle game over. He said for 6 people live for the Avenue. But they never know them a send and them sentence. What's in the team? When I say they will fix it.
Take that.
I'll give them a miss. Now we like get hard cause them a bread.
Patience sale. Yeah, no man. Yeah, no man. The thing hot. The thing hot. Because if you didn't know before, now you know. Tell your neighbor, I know now. Let me tell you something, eh? When you look at Tobago, over the last 4 years, I've heard people describe Tobago. They say Tobago is a shadow. It's a shadow of what it used to be. The capital, dirty, shadow. The playgrounds in a mess, shadow. All we sport facilities, shadow. People sent home, shadow. But tonight, the PNM has to say, yeah, though we walk through the shadow of death, we will fear no evil. Because thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. It had no place here for no anchor.
PNM.
We dealing with rod and staff from God. It had no place here for no anchor. We busting that chain. We busting that chain. Yeah? So as I said earlier on, there are some things we're not talking about. Remember that. Remember there are what? Some things that we're not talking about tonight. So we're not going to be talking about 4 roads that up to now not complete and the money spent. We're not talking about that tonight. We're not going to be talking about people who in and out of facilities trying to get some assistance, calling the phone, the family need help, but they can't get pick up at all from home because it have no ambulance. We're not talking about that tonight. And let me take you back a little bit. Something that I'm definitely not talking about tonight is where a group of people, and this is a secret, was found guilty. They catch them because somebody who had a conscience sit down between them, plotting to take Tobago money and to give people lucrative jobs to spread propaganda. But we're not talking about that tonight. We're not talking about that. We're not even going to talk about the fact that when you go to the market, you could pay $20 for 3-pack, but when it comes from the order inside of that place, it's $7,000 for a bag. But tonight, we don't have time to talk about that. So let me bring on somebody who we have time for. A young man who many of us have gathered here this evening to hear, because many of us know him from since he's small. And you have seen him walking up and down this very hill. We've seen him walking up and down the streets. We see him sitting down with the young men on the corners. We see him on the football field. We see him carrying them in the garden, planting, reaping, sharing. We see him going to the homes of the seniors. We see him in Police Youth Club. We see him all about. Everywhere we go, we see him. Unlike some persons. You know what you just had to do this for? When you're looking for something that you're not seeing at all, your vision blurred, so you had to block that person we had to do this for. But tonight, join with me. I want you to raise your voices. I want you to send a message tonight to Signal Hill, to Patience Hill, and send a message throughout Tobago that Brian Harris is going to walk these streets as the next representative for Signal Hill, Patience Hill. And it starts tonight. Let us welcome Brian Harris.
The people want. The people want. The people want. The youths want. The elders want. Lucky for you, my friend. Harris is a good spirit. He gave you the youths in the village and the elders in the district. No word about. He on the ground. Yeah. Good spirit. He bring in a good spirit. Let's come back and take back the district. They run it down. They mash it down. Yeah. For 4 years now, it's seen all of day. Now they know people. I said that's my man in the circle. Yeah. So we come together and get rid of them. And put people who know people and know what they want. Cause action speak louder than voices. And we all make choices. But the choice that we made, the last time we vote, left us all disappointed. But BNM will change it, so we don't have to fake it. Cause we can't country birth, it's like theater, we live and we neck. And I say that with all due respect. Remember when we call them ignoring we, like we do them something.
Wow. Good evening to each and every one of us here today. People of Patience Hill, Signal Hill, Lambo, Spring Garden, Union, Orange Hill. Good evening. You know, it is a good thing to be. It is so lovely to be in the land of the living tonight. And before I go further, I take time to put God first in everything. So before I go further, Mr. DJ.
I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called my name.
Thank you, Mr. DJ.
I've been born again.
Thank you, Mr. DJ. Special greeting to our political leader, Mr. Ansel Dennis, my fellow candidates, my faithful, loyal members of the People's National Movement. Good night, good evening to each and every one of you. I stand before you this evening not as a candidate, but as son of this soil. A man you have seen, known, grow with for more than 35 years. I am your humble servant, Brian Harris. And I'm standing here tonight to represent this beautiful district of Signal Hill, Patience Hill, Lambo, Union, Orange Hill. Thank you tonight for just coming out and giving me that support. As I stand here tonight, I just want to truly feel so great to know that, yes, I am a man of this ground. I am a man that walked this ground for years and, stay secret. But tonight I want to share a story with you all. This story will show you why my loyalty and why I am so loyal to this district of mine. You see, my story is not one of ease nor privilege. At just 17 years old, when my mother passed away, I became a parent of my 4 young siblings. The youngest one was just 1 year old. I had dreams of furthering my education, but my heart told me family first. And with God's grace, I stand firm. But I didn't do it alone. It was you, the people of Signal Hill, Patience Hill, Lambo, Union. You stand with me. Neighbors, churches, community. You fed us, you guide us, and pray for us. That's when I know the true meaning of community. And I want to thank you all because you are the one responsible for me right now. Because you were my parents after the death of my mother. You take care of me, you guide me, you pray for me, the churches, everyone. So I want to say thank you, and that's where my loyalty lies. I was later adopted by the late Williams Mackenzie, who taught me humility, generosity, and service. Those lessons are written on my heart, and they guide everything I do today. I have walked these hills and valley for years, listening, helping, mobilizing, and working for the People's National Movement. I serve alongside great leaders such as Williams Mackenzie, Orville London, Oswald Williams, Joe Mopit, Shamfa Kojo. I never choose the spotlight. I stay patient. As old people say, patient men ride donkey. And true patient, loyalty, and hard work. I was called by the people, my friends, and people around to lead. But for over 10 years, I have served. I have worked with the Signal Hill Police Youth Club. My work was to bring young people, get them off the street and into the Police Youth Club where they were taken care of. And I have seen what mentorship, structure, and belief can do. But I want to talk to you, my people of Signal Hill, Patience Hill, Spring Garden, Union. You know Signal Hill, I remember Signal Hill. As a young fella growing up in Signal Hill, I remember the love we had for one another. I remember when every time we have a program, we had a lot of program in Signal Hill. Every time we take, for example, football, it was Patience Hill, it was Lambo, it was Spring Garden. We all come together and play that game and buy that love among ourselves. But today when I look around and I walk through the district and I see the condition, and I see for the past 4 years where they have forsaken us, they have betrayed us, they have taken away everything from us. I will start from Signal Hill. When I go to Signal Hill and I walk on the football field and the hard court, problems. They have lied to the young people. They have promised them. And today if you go there, there is no ring, no net. It's so sad. It's so sad. When you look at our roads, I want to ask you a question. For the past 4 years, you satisfied with the job or the person who said that they would have, represent you? When I walk to Orange Hill, and I walk the road of Orange Hill as we go back to the housing project, it's a shame. The only thing you hear or I hear from the people who are walking out there, I have been neglected. I have been unheard. I haven't seen anyone. Calls are gone. No one to answer. Tell me, my people, it hurt my heart knowing then that, I was always there. I know where we come from. But don't worry. God is love. So as I continue, this community of Signal Hill, Patience Hill, Union, Orange Hill, we have raised icons such as Oscar Benjamin, Sherwin Winchester, and the late Ricky Nelson. And my people, my district, it's time to build a new generation. More talent, more leaders, more pride from right here at home. Under our successive PNM administration, this district have seen real, visible, and lasting development, such as modern community center for learning and growth, fully lighted playing field for self-active youth life, pavilion upgrade, both Signal Hill, Patience Hill, hard court for netball, basketball, and community sports, and the Happy Heaven School, giving every differently able child the right to learn and belong. That's, my friend, is the PNM difference. Deliver when others only promise. You see, it is so simple. My vision is so simple. A community that works together for everyone. I, Brian Harris, had the opportunity to travel to Canada. And I remember the reason why I made that choice is because I wanted to help young people. So 2005, I decided to take a part in a farm program in Canada. Didn't know what it was really all about, but the opportunity come. And I take that opportunity. And I remember while I was out there working, I worked myself up in this farm program from 2005 to 2013. I had the opportunity to really help the young people in my electoral district and also Tobago. I had the opportunity to recommend farm workers to go out and work. And I did that because we needed a job. Young people needed the opportunity to travel and to experience something where hardly people experience. And I had the opportunity. I had the opportunity to help them. I helped around 37 young people, getting them out in the farm program, studying, understanding what farming is all about. And I will continue. Down to last week, I recommend about 6 more. And that is my responsibility as an area, a man on the ground. I walk the ground, I listen. And today I could say, I, Brian Harris, will give you the grassroots representation that you all need. The service that you all need. Representation is not about one house. It's not about 2 houses, it's about everybody. And I've taken my time for more than 4 months, walking and touching every house, speaking to everyone. There are times I've been embarrassed. It doesn't matter. But my point is, I am here for all. It doesn't matter your color, it doesn't matter your clothes, it doesn't matter anything. True representation is about everybody. And I want to say tonight, Brian Harris will be, I know I will be the next area representative by God's grace.
PNM.
You see, when I walk, I listen a lot. I was trained to listen. And I heard the cry of the people. And the cry of the people is, it's so simple. Low-hanging fruits. You believe? Want someone to talk to. Want someone who they could see and things like that. But I want to thank God for the opportunity to talk to my elders. I spend time with the elders, especially when I walk. It hurt me a lot to know that when they retire, we take them for granted. You know, it's not that they expire, but we take them for granted. And I did take the time and sit with them, and I hear the cry of many of our elderly. It's so sad, you know what I mean? They work hard for us, they paved the way for us. And what I did, I had the opportunity to rent a maxi taxi and take 25 of them on a trip to Roxborough. You see, the trip is just not to just go to Roxborough, to check their health. It had a health fiesta on the 8th of November, and I take the opportunity to take 25 of them up there to check their health, give them an outing, show them around a little bit because they really need it. Because let me tell you something. When you listen to them, many have forsaken them to a point, you know. They need the opportunity for someone to take them out. And I tell you, I had that opportunity there, and I thank God. Brian Harris, your area representative, soon come. I will make sure there is program out there for you elderly, even though it's twice a year, where we will take you out on a trip, we will take you out and show you a good time, because you deserve it, because you prepare the way for us, and we have to give you that respect and show you how thankful we are. So tonight, to the young people out there, I want to say there's a hero in every one of you. You deserve better. You don't deserve a 10-day. You don't deserve a drink of rum. You don't deserve a lime on the block or a party or anything. You deserve plenty more than that. And I want you to listen. I want you to take stock of your life. Listen to my political leader and the programs that he is putting out there for all the district and for everyone to be a part of. And a part of the Police Youth Club. There are programs running there, thank God for Sister Sanjali. We have program running out there where last 2 weeks we had welding for the youths. And we had more than 20-something young people out there learning to weld. So you see, it's not about waiting on that day. I was always and I will always be a person, always working with the young people and our senior citizens. We need each other. Each one need each other at the end of the day. Because I'm going to tell you something. You know, there's a writing on that wall, and I always say it every day. There's a writing on that wall. And as I look clearly, I could see that writing. And the writing is saying, prodigals, sons and daughters of the People's National Movement, please come back home. Let us join together. Let us work together. Let us prepare the way and secure our young people's future. Because today when we look around and we see there are people, they are hungry. There are people, they are suffering, our young people. At the end of the day, if we don't come out and give that support and vote them out and bring back the PNM people to open and to continue to do the job that they were doing all the time. People, make up our mind. Let us come out. The moment is now. Let us rise up and rebuild. Let us restore pride and purpose. Let us honor those who come before us by preparing the way for those who come after. On election day, I say it again, on election day, vote for loyalty. Vote for love of community. Vote for leadership and service. Vote for your humble servant, Brian Harris. Vote for the PNM. Together, let's put Tobago first again. Thank you. God bless you. And may God continue to bless Signal Hill, Patience Hill, Union, Orange Hill, and Tobago. Thank you.
Let's hear it again for Brian Harris. The next area representative of Signal Hill, Patience Hill. Now, we come into a close this evening where we peak. But it has some things that I still need to get off my chest. It has some things I still want to get off my chest. Because sometimes when I think about some of the things that has happened, it does irritate me. All you catch what I say yet. It does irritate me. And when you get irritated, nothing good could come out of that. So Signal Hill, Patience Hill, do not let nobody irritate you. You hear what I'm saying? So it has some things that is when I come off tonight, I remember some of the things that I don't want to talk about tonight. I didn't want to talk tonight about how Tadco turned into nothing because they turned Tadco into a competitor against the farmers who Tadco was supposed to help. We're not talking about that tonight. We're not going to talk about the mega farms that they spend millions of dollars on that never get off the ground. But we're not talking about that tonight. We're not even going and talk about Jazz Festival that they shut down and they say it's not making no money and they replace it with rhythm and blues and it busts. We're not talking about that tonight. And something that eat me to my core, Tobago is heritage. Tobago is about heritage. Tobago is about heritage, and they cut funding for heritage and all the other festivals on this island that make Tobago, that people come from all about to see. But you know what? That hurt me so much, but we're not going to talk about it tonight. We're not talking about it. But what we're going to talk about, we're going to hear next. Because we could listen, all people going all over Tobago, calling PNM, 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 PNM this, PNM that, PNM 21 years, 21 years, 21 years. Let me tell you something. To make 21 years straight is a privilege, is an honor, and is a milestone. Nobody else doing that. And on January 12th, we are going to make sure nobody could come close to that. So we're proud of 21 years. Because in 21 years, the PNM built Tobago. Let them take the 21 years narrative and go from here. Coming to the podium to tell us now what we're going to be doing in the next 4 years, and the 4 years after that, and the 4 years after that, and the 4 years after that. Come on, man. This is how we talking. Coming to the podium, we have a young man. We have a young man. More fire. More fire. I want the DJ cue up. I want the DJ cue up that song. And when I introduce him, DJ, I want you to Lego that tune. You hear what I'm telling you? Let us stand if you're sitting down. Let us raise we hand if we hands down. Take your flag, take your rag, take your jersey, and join with me this evening as we welcome the next area representative for Buku Mount Pleasant. He's going to come tonight and going to lay a plan that is irrefutable. None could test it. Ansel, 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 Dennis!
Let me see your rags and your flags. I go play games, no time.
You ready up enough? Fight. YTP still a try. Fight. Hands in not in the talk. Him a go fix every road fi walk. From Kodla all right back to Mason all. Ask Gracie about it. Him nasty. Now feel PLM comfy. Catch kicks for 4 years, then get dark and then waste it. So me just a sing back to basics. 4 PLM today. Hands in
I go play game, no time.
him ready up enough. Ready. Fight. YTP still a try. Fight.
PNM. Let me see your voting finger.
PNM. Vote for
PNM. 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 PNM.
Vote PNM.
Who you voting for?
PNM.
PNM. PNM. PNM.
PNM. March out and send march out you the people them want them not go take no talk when I the party talk. Them sound this talk. When me say them sound this talk. So vote PNM today.
And still not play games, no time.
Him ready up enough. Fight. YTP still a try. Fight. And still not in the talk. Him a go fix every road for walk. From Kodla all right back to Mason all. Ask Gracie about it. Him nasty. Nothing PLM comfy. Catch kicks for 4 years then get dark and then
Signal Hill.
yes I sing back to basic.
Patience Hill.
PNM. Vote PNM.
PNM.
Vote for PNM. PNM.
Who you voting for?
You dig?
Good evening to God's children. Good evening to decent, right-thinking Tobagonians who are getting ready to raise the anchor so that the Tobago ship can sail on towards progress. And of course, I will not be very long because all the previous speakers came here and they gave you a slew of things that you should vote against. And we know that a lot of people come out on election day to vote against. And when you examine what took place for the last 4 years, you have a lot of things to vote against. But we in the PNM are also going to ensure that when you go to the polls on election day, January the 12th, 2026, that you also have some things to vote for. And therefore, my assignment this evening is to simply share a little bit of what the PNM intends to do to put you, the people of Tobago, first again, to restore that which was stolen from you, the people of Tobago, and to ensure that we improve your quality of life. Because I want to start by telling you a little story. Once upon a time, and this is a true story, although I'm starting with once upon a time, I ventured out to sea on a boat. And at that point in time, I was a new boat owner. And I didn't know a lot about boats at the time. Of course, I grew up around boats. I grew up in the community of Buko, spending a lot of time on boats. So I went out to sea by myself. And as I went through the shallows across by Pigeon Point, heading across to Crown Point, that area just off the A&R Robinson International Airport runway, the engine shut down. Just like that. So of course, me and how to fix engine, I called up one of my boys from Buko, one of the guys that I grew up with, and I said, boy, water more than flow out here. So he asked me what happened. I said the engine shut off. So he tell me check all kind of thing. I check. I raise up the engine cover. I check what he tell me to check. I try to start back the engine. The engine ain't starting at all. He said, well, I'm on my way. I'm bringing out 2 of them boys to see if we could help you. But I want you to drop the anchor. So I said to myself, I wonder why you want me to drop the anchor. And then I realized, it dawned on me, that the reason I had to drop the anchor was because the boat was in distress. Because the boat lacked direction, it lacked propulsion, the boat could go nowhere, and the boat was out at sea, adrift, being moved by the current to and fro. And in order for me to remain stable so that they could come to rescue me, I had to drop the anchor. And therefore, the only time an anchor is required is when the boat is stable and not moving because the engine ain't working, or the propulsion system, whether it be sail, whether it be motorized, is no longer producing propulsion. And I'm saying to you, the people of Tobago, that by the time those guys came and they boarded my boat, it took them a short time to figure out what the problem was. And when they found out what the problem was, and they got the engine restarted, and propulsion returned, and the boat could have moved again towards the destination that I was intending to go to, of course we had to pull up the anchor. And I'm saying to you, the people of Tobago, to get yourselves ready to pull up the anchor. In fact, don't worry to pull it up, just cut the rope. Because the Tobago ship, the Tobago boat is getting ready to move again, because propulsion from the PNM and direction from Papa leadership is about to be returned. So cut the rope, let the anchor drop to the bottom, and let us move on towards the mark of the higher calling. Let us move on towards our destiny and our purpose as people of Tobago. So, I've been talking a lot about this bold new vision for you, the people of Tobago. Because you see, 4 years out of office was not wasted. We spent the time looking at the last 4 years. We looked at even our 21 years, which they are envious of course, because they always refer to our 21 years. But when you see them blue people, I want you to tell them 21 years didn't come just so. In fact, 21 years required a solid foundation of a good first term. Because if we don't get a good first term, I can assure you that the people of Tobago, in their wisdom, would have voted the PNM out of office since 2005. So 21 years didn't come just so. And nothing is wrong with aspiring to be in office for 21 years as a political party. But you have to start by giving the people of Tobago a good first term. And I'm saying to you, the people of Tobago, that you ought not to be satisfied with that first term, and therefore they should not be talking about any second term. And I'm saying their days in office should be numbered. So let's talk about housing, because that's a very important subject for the people of Tobago. In fact, as I speak, the list of Tobagonians awaiting affordable housing support from the Tobago House of Assembly is over 7,000. Yes, over 7,000 and counting. And you ought to take note of the fact that during the PNM's time in office, we established several housing developments in Tobago on this island. We established proper housing developments in Adventure, in Corland, in Castara, in Blenheim, in Roxborough, and I can go on. We established land developments as well. And in addition to that, we distributed millions of dollars in grants for home improvement, for home completion, for home startup. But check the track record of this current administration. How many homes did they build? In fact, they are so ridiculous that on 2 occasions, they conducted what you call a raffle, selected people for houses that are even built as yet. In fact, they selected some people since 2022. We are now in 2025, and the homes that those persons were selected to occupy have not even started to build as yet. And guess what? With an election on the horizon, because they want your vote and they intend to fool you and hoodwink you to get your vote, they are coming sometime later this month to announce that they're giving out 200 houses or something of the sort again. And I'm saying to you, the people of Tobago, do not fall for that trickery. Do not fall for that trickery, because they have no capacity to build any homes, and all they are about is distributing houses that do not exist on the premise that you will vote for them. So, what are we going to do about this thing called housing? Because it is my firm belief, and it is the vision of this team and this party, that every single Tobagonian should live comfortably. Because, as we like to say, I think it was Kes who sang, no place like home. There is no place like home. And therefore, one of the challenges we recognized is the home improvement grant. And the challenge is that the grant, I think now, is it $15,000? I think it's $15,000. Challenge number 1 is that the $15,000 is often woefully insufficient to fix the things that need to be fixed on your house. In fact, with the $15,000, you could barely change a roof properly. And if your house needs plenty fixing, you may change the roof, but your step breaking down, or you're still using an outside toilet, or your electrical is a disaster waiting to happen in the form of a house fire, or your plumbing causing leaks in your house, which by extension causing your floorboard to rot out. So in the first place, that $15,000 home improvement grant is woefully insufficient. The other challenge is this: you have to fill out a lot of paperwork, and then even when you submit the paperwork, it takes you a long time to get the grant. And when you get the grant, it takes a long time again for them to give you the first check of $7,500. And I've been talking to people about this experience, so I know it by my fingertip. And then when you get the first check, the reality is that some people will use the check for something else other than home improvement, but that is another story by itself. Then there are those who will take the check, buy the material, and then they have no idea where the labor is coming from to do the work. And there are those who may take the check, get the labor, do the work, bring in the receipts to get the second part of the check, and 2 years will pass, 3 years will pass, 4 years will pass. I've known cases of 5 years have passed and people still waiting on the second tranche. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our intention to reform that, to transform that, to do away with that, and to ensure that you, the people of Tobago, can get access to home improvement support and home startup support and home completion support without all that bureaucracy and red tape and waiting. And this is how we will do it. In the first place, recognizing that the $15,000 is not enough, we will raise that ceiling to a maximum of $100,000 for home improvement support. And we are saying as well that instead of taking you through the process to apply for the grant, to get a check, and then to find a contractor to do what has to be done on your house, because half of you don't know anything about managing any project, you don't know anything about construction, and half the time the contractor will come and rip you off. So when you're supposed to get $7,500 in work, the work you're getting is $2,000, and the other $5,500 going towards labor. We are saying to you that the first thing we will do is to create a registry of local community-based contractors, and when you come for your home improvement support, we will send out the engineers to evaluate your home as an entire project, whether you want roof change, whether you want toilet built, whether you want your kitchen fixed, whether you want your step rebuilt. And when they do the evaluation and they come up with a scope, we will hire from the THA a local contractor from the community to do the work for you within 3 to 6 months, depending on the scope. So of course, through that arrangement, you don't have to find the contractor, you don't have to go and look to buy the material, you don't have to manage any construction project, and you don't have to wait 2, 3, 4, and 5 years to get the work done. And I'm saying that that arrangement, not only will it apply to home improvement, but if you have land and you want support to start your house, we will help you through that arrangement as well. And if you start your house and you don't know how you're finishing it, we will assist you to finish your home through that arrangement as well. The other thing we recognize is that the Tobago House of Assembly is not extremely efficient at building homes. And therefore, we are going to embark on a journey where we will stimulate the private development of lands across Tobago. So for those private developers, Tobagonians of course, because remember we are operating on the premise that if it can be done by a Tobagonian, and if it can be done by a Tobago company, then it must go to a Tobago company, plain and simple. And while I'm here, I want to address one of the biggest lies ever told to the people of Tobago. That because of OPR, all of a sudden Tobago contractors can't get work, and it's only people from outside of Tobago could get work. That is a lie. Because when you examine the OPR legislation, it is stated there clearly in black and white that the Tobago House of Assembly or any procuring entity can develop their procurement policy in such a way that it guarantees and protects local content. And I'm saying if they couldn't do it, vote them out and allow the PNM to come in and do it.
PNM.
So of course, we will partner with private land developers, and we will say to them, develop lands that will cost $500,000 on the open market or less. Of course, the square footage will have to be somewhere between 5,000 square feet minimum and up to 10,000 square feet maximum. And that's enough to put on a house, right? When they develop the lands, we will say to the average Tobagonian who wants to purchase land on the open market, go to the developer, identify the parcel of land you want to purchase, come back to us and tell us. And when we sign the sale agreement, when you sign the sale agreement, the Tobago House of Assembly will provide you with a subsidy of 50% of the cost of the land, and you will only have to find the balance. The other program we will introduce is called the BOIL program, which means build on your land. So for Tobagonians who have land because you inherited, your grandmother or your grandfather or your mother passed it on to you, but you have no idea how you're starting the house. And we are saying for working class families, meaning people who are working for a specific salary within a specific bracket, and you have your own land, come to the THA, apply for that program. Of course, you're going to have to utilize one of our approved house plans. And when you go to the bank, simply get qualified for 50% of the value of constructing that house plan, and the THA will come up with the other 50%. We are also saying that through that same program, persons falling within the category of vulnerable, meaning your salary is so low that there is no hope for you to qualify for any mortgage through any bank. We are saying to you that if you find yourself in a circumstance where you have land, and some people might wonder, well, how you could get land and you can't build house. Some people inherit land, as I said before. Land pass on to you and you have no way to start building your house, and the land just sit down there watching you in your face. We are saying to you, once you fall within the category of vulnerable due to your low income, come to the THA, apply for the program, and we will build the house for you up to a particular value of about $250,000 to $300,000. And of course, through the usual arrangements that exist now, we will build and provide low-income housing that will be very affordable for the average Tobagonian. Because I can tell you that it was always the intention of those housing programs to create opportunities for Tobagonians who could not afford it to own their own homes. And we are saying we are going to make that possible. So I'm saying to you, the people of Tobago, we in the PNM, we are giving you something to vote for. And yes, as I said before, there is a lot to vote against, from Audio Gate to Ambulance Gate to Radar Gate to Trevor Gate to Roundabout Gate. There is a lot to vote against. But I'm saying to you that we are also telling you, because we are coming to you not only with a vision, but with a track record. Because I'm saying the other people will come to you and make commitments and promises too. And therefore you have to weigh them on a scale and determine throughout your lifetime which of these political parties were able to fulfill their promises. And I'm saying if you examine the PNM by its track record, and you examine the TPP by its track record, then you will know beyond the shadow of a doubt that it is the PNM that will be able to deliver to you what we say we will deliver to you, the people of Tobago.
You dig? You dig? PNM.
And the final thing I will tell you is that you also have to compare leader for leader. because you must remember and recall that I was once your chief secretary. And I came to the people of Tobago, and within 3 months, I standardized 3-year contracts for public servants in the Tobago House of Assembly. And I'm saying to you now, having done that at the next opportunity with your support and your vote, I will move it up from 3 years to 5 years as the standard contractual period for public servants.
You dig?
And I'm saying you could trust me to do that because I did it before. And of course, I never tell a lie to you yet. I have never come to the public and lied to the people of Tobago. And the question I want to ask you is, how many times have this chief secretary lied to you? Don't even try to count because you can't count it. And I'm saying to you that you have a choice. Either you believe me and the PNM, or you believe people who have consistently lied to you and who have consistently betrayed you time and time again. So people of Tobago, it is time for us to really make the decision. Don't wait for January the 12th or close to that date to decide who you're voting for. Now is decision time. Because I'm saying by now, and I'm speaking particularly to the undecided voters, by now you should have enough information to make a decision. You have seen what has transpired for 4 years. You saw this chief secretary for 4 years. You saw the previous chief secretary, who happened to be me, for a little time. You saw 21 years of the PNM. And by the way, you will see it circulating on WhatsApp. You will see it at some point in the newspapers. And you may see it distributed in your mailboxes. And you may see me about Tobago distributing it as well. We have decided to put into the public domain highlights of our achievements for the 21 years that we were in office. So when they come to tell you that the PNM did nothing for 21 years, I simply want you to take that document and push it in their face and ask them if they could read. And if they say they can't read, I want you to start reading it for them. So I'm saying to you, the people of Signal Hill, Patience Hill, you have had poor representation for the last 4 years. And you know, sometimes they say, when better can't be done, let the worst continue. I am saying tonight you have a better option in Brian Harris, and therefore the worst cannot and will not continue. So go to the polls on January the 12th, but before you get to the polls, make the decision now. And when you make the decision, convince others as well to make the decision now. Because this election is not about playing games, it's not about giving people chances. If you want to take a chance, go and play the lottery. If you want to take a chance, go and play a raffle. But the future of Tobago and the future of this country and your future and your children's future and your children's future is nothing to be taking a chance with. And I'm saying to you that because you are not prepared to take a chance, you must make the decision to reinstall decent, capable leadership with integrity, leadership with a vision, and that leadership can only come from the People's National Movement and a PNM team. So I'm saying when you make that decision to do that, and you go to the polls on January the 12th, and you vote in favor of the cutting of that anchor rope that has been keeping you back for the last 4 years, that has been stifling your growth, that has been destroying your economy, that has been selling you out to the highest bidders in South Trinidad, when you go to the polls and you vote against that nonsense passing as leadership in Tobago, only then will we say, great is the PNM, great is our island of Tobago, great is our God, and we shall prevail.
Kicks are 4 years, them get dark and them waste it. Some of this I sing.
Patience, sir.
What PNM today? Hansel not go play a game, no time.
You did.
Team ready up enough, ready.
Patience, sir.
People still a try fight. PNM, vote PNM, PNM, vote for PNM, 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 PNM.
We let DJ. So, Patience, sir. Come, all you fall asleep. Patience, sir. Patience, sir. I want all you to say something after me tonight. Say eliminate. Come, we have to get it right. Say eliminate anything that irritate. We going again with it. Eliminate anything that irritate. We going one more time. That's the practice. We warming up. Eliminate anything that irritate. And tonight we deciding to eliminate every and anything in Patience Hill, in Signal Hill that irritate. We not taking no irritation no more. Hear what I'm saying? Tell your neighbor that. We not taking no irritation no more.
You dig. You dig.
Tonight I want to thank you for being with us in your numbers here at Bob's Supermarket in Patience Hill. For our online viewers, continue to follow the PNM trail, continue to follow our meetings. Tomorrow night we at Lekoto Road and Providence Junction. Let me hear you. We at Lekoto Road and Providence Junction, and we supporting Mr. Akil Guy tomorrow night in our numbers because he is the guy. It ain't no other guy. They're coming now and they're trying to spread rumors. It's because they're frightened. They're afraid of him. And tomorrow night when we roll in on that junction, we getting an unction to function. And we're going to flatten that place and rebuild it with the right guy. Yeah? So folks, friends, family, let's encourage each other. January 12th. That is the day of decision. January 12th. So we're going to eliminate Patience Hill, Signal Hill. What are we doing? We eliminate anything that irritate. Have a wonderful evening, folks. Thanks for coming out. See you tomorrow night in your numbers. God bless.
Yeah.